Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to All in Good Sport. My name's Chris Tarkle, and today I'm here with...
You're with Joe Rainbow,
Alfie Langford, James Blackburn,
and Yasmin Mills.
And yeah, episode 10, season 2, episode 4, I want to say. Is that right?
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
So we're back. We're at our second episode on YouTube, which is exciting.
Great.
So that's good. And we're joined with a guest again today. So hello, Yasmin.
Thank
Welcome
you.
for your first appearance. It's been an exciting week. I think there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, lots going on.
We are on a little bit of a time constraint, so you're not going to get the 2 hours of joyful All in Good Sport that you normally get. It might be a little bit condensed, but we'll make do. Anything going on in anyone's lives that we need to talk about quickly? Any personal updates?
I have an update.
Go on.
Carabao Cup final this weekend. My little sister Freya is going to be on the pitch at
Oh,
Wembley
wow.
with the cadets. Yeah, don't actually know what she's going to be doing, but she's going to be there with a flag or something. So look out for little Freya Mills on Sunday.
definitely.
Absolutely. I have
Yeah.
absolutely no idea what she looks like, but I'll keep an eye.
And she's not ginger,
She's
so
not
she
ginger.
doesn't look anything like me at
Okay.
all. People have said that we look slightly similar. It's just the hair really throws people off. So yeah, look out for her when you're.
Oh, that'd be a
How
great
old is she?
experience. That would.
She is 17. Oh, nearly got me there.
17.
She's nearly 18.
The way you were talking about it, I thought she was like 9 or something.
Sorry, yeah.
Like a mascot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, sorry, Fred, I've done you a disservice there. No, she's 17. She's with the cadets,
Yeah.
so she's done it through that, volunteered. It's a shame that Fulham, I'm a Fulham fan, by the way, for context. Shame that Fulham aren't going to be in that final. That would have been amazing if
That would be
she
something
was,
serious,
Yeah,
yeah.
there with the Fulham team.
Tell you what, though,
It's going to
I
be
mean,
Chelsea instead.
you did give Liverpool a good game in the semis.
We did.
Over
I was
two,
there.
over 2 legs as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it when when we did that first leg. I was very happy with that first leg. I thought we gave ourselves we hadn't completely thrown it away in that first leg, which I was very happy with. It just felt like it wasn't going to happen at home. I was very happy with the performance. It felt like a bit of a big opportunity that we threw away. But yeah, good experience that
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
will never happen again.
Yeah.
But it's all right. It's fine.
Just wasn't any belief in the stadium, was there?
No. I mean, we got all the KKK flags out. Did you
Yeah,
see
that was so rogue. I saw that on Twitter. I was like, what the hell?
Oh, it's crazy. I didn't even notice it, which is really bad. But I mean, it's just when you see the white flags, when you have the black flags next to it as well, then it doesn't
Yeah.
seem that bad. It was just the way that they were
Oh,
like,
it looked rough.
it looks so bad.
If anyone's not seen that, go and search it on Twitter. It's so funny.
Tony Khan's hooded army.
No, that's terrible because we were waving the flags, and then these Twitter posts kept coming out, and we were going, "Oh no, what have we done here?"
It's
was
funny though, because Fulham is like the most chill club.
It
like
is.
nothing wrong with it. I mean, we were talking about the process on the podcast that we did
Yes,
a
yeah,
couple of
yeah.
months ago. Shout out that the latest
Go
on
and give it a
LSR
listen.
is on Spotify.
Jimmy
But-
B with the plug.
Gotta be Pluggy B. But
That's a crazy nickname. That's an absolutely absurd nickname.
but when we were talking about like the Fulham protest, it was like tea and cake and all walking in an orderly line and yellow cards.
We met
bar.
in Bishop's Park at the tea room.
Oh my God.
Where you can get a toasty and a cake, and we were all given our yellow cards, and it was all very organised and civil. Then we walked down, we had our pictures, and we were all a few boos, but that was it.
I'm sure that's
no.
exactly
It's
what
not
it's like
quite
when
Millwall,
Bradford
is it?
protest.
It's not Millwall. No.
Other than that, though, this week we've done a little bit of rebranding. We've got the new artwork, and fingers crossed, we should have some new cover art coming soon. I'll give a little sneak preview. Basically, the idea is we're going to have all our like sporting heroes on this cover. One of my mates is painting it, and then we'll have the
wow.
All in Good Sport
Painting
logo in
it?
the middle. Yeah.
Nice. MS Paint.
No, like actual,
Oh, right.
full on. Yeah. So she's going to hand paint. So it'll take a little while.
And how
but
much are
we
you
should-
paying him for that?
I don't know. I'll pay her.
Yeah.
So that's why you were asking
yeah.
for our sporting heroes the other
Exactly.
day.
Yeah, I wasn't just interested.
Okay.
Other than that, yeah, keep subscribing to the YouTube, like the TikToks and whatnot, and just keep supporting the podcast.
Definitely.
Shall we move into some winners and losers?
Can do.
Yes.
Yeah.
And would anyone like to go first?
Would the guest like to start us off with some winners
I
and
think
losers?
that's how it should work. Yeah.
Yeah, go on then. I mean, my winners are kind of all similar.
Okay.
Because I'm a big fan of aquatics, so it's going to be.
All
All right.
Yeah,
It's a new
throw
topic
it-
for the
Yeah,
podcast.
I
I don't
thought
think
it
we've
would
done
be a
much.
bit-
Yeah,
We touched on that.
I like that.
Yeah. I was trying to go for a bit of variety, so They're all based around swimming and diving.
Oh,
from
smashing.
last week. It wasn't quite the last week because we've had the World Champs
Yeah.
in Doha.
Not much water there.
Great banter.
No, no.
In stitches, Jimmy.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was it was a very good World Championships. Very interesting for the diving in particular. We got all 12 Olympic quota spots that were available for the Brits, which was very good. But I'd like to focus a little bit on Tom Daley and Noah Williams. I don't know if you saw, but they got a silver medal in the 10-metre synchro pairings. Did very well. I mean, obviously, first place went to the Chinese, and we were miles off that.
Standard.
Really.
They always
Of
win.
the boys.
The
They
diving.
always
Yeah.
win. Always win. Ukrainians came in third. That was a really good one
Alright.
to
Nice.
look at. But obviously, Tom Daley, last we saw of him, he was winning a gold medal in Tokyo with Matty Lee. And he took a few years off diving and is now coming back to defend that title at the Olympics this year in Paris. And it's a little bit up in the air who his partner will be, but Noah Williams winning that silver has put him in good stead. It was a good performance from him, so that's my first winner.
With the diving, like, do they normally stick with the same partner? Like, what's the crack there? How often would they change partner?
Obviously, it does change. I mean, it didn't necessarily have to be Tom Daley.
Yeah.
I think we're just assuming that it's going to be him.
Okay.
It would be a bit embarrassing if they turned around and said you're not going to be in the pairing.
Yeah.
It's sort of a 3-horse race at the moment. So Tom, Noah, and someone else, Matty Lee, who obviously would also be defending his title, Olympic title. But he was actually sent home from Doha because he's had an injury.
Okay.
And he was there as a reserve for Noah. But they did some tests and sent him home.
Mm-hmm.
So we're thinking possibly it's a little bit up in the air as to who's going to be there because he's been working on that injury for a while. So we're hoping that he'll be back for the Olympics. But Noah, he's young. I think he's 23. This would be an amazing opportunity for him.
How old's Tom Daley now?
He's 29, I believe.
Okay.
I mean, that's still quite young. I
I
thought
was
he was
going
in
to
his
say, I swear
30s.
he's been knocking about for ages.
Oh, yes.
He
Yeah.
has,
I mean,
but
my-
he was
my
so
first-
young at 2012.
Yeah, I was going to say about 2012 because that was my first memory of Tom
Yeah.
Daley. I'd just come back from Cornwall, stick the telly on. First thing I see is him winning bronze there, and that was quite a big thing because we're not really known for diving. There's that the guy who does commentary for the BBC, Leon something, can't remember his name, but he was like silver medalist in I think it was Beijing.
Yeah.
But he's done the commentary for like yonkers now. It's crazy. So like Daley winning that bronze was quite a big thing, and then obviously he wins gold in Tokyo and there's knitting and everything.
Yeah. I do like the knitting.
Yeah, there's a little. I don't know if you might want to edit this out, but there is a little bit of a weird relationship between Tom's knitting and Noah Williams' OnlyFans.
All right.
Right.
No, I'm
No,
this is staying right in. This is staying right in. I'm
Yeah.
excited. Here we go.
So, rumour has it that I haven't been on his OnlyFans page, but he's had it for a while and he has announced it on YouTube, so it is out there. But rumour has it that there has been a few cameos of Tom's knitting, specifically a cocksock for Noah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Alfie, can you do the
interesting.
research on this? I don't know what you have to
Just get it up.
search. Yeah.
Get it on the edge of your own Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Pull that up, Roddy.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is entirely true, but they have been talking about it.
That's so intriguing. Like,
No, Alfie, you're supposed to be going on OnlyFans.com, mate.
muscle memory for him.
Here we go.
I don't really know if I want to see a picture.
There was a YouTube they did together, which was like a Q&A, and they were talking about it.
Just look up Tom Daley cocksock. Come on.
Yeah, come on, go for it.
But no, that's an
That
intriguing
is
little partnership.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't interesting.
Yeah.
I can't really
I'm
get
just-
past
No, I'm just sort of sat here thinking about that
Yeah.
now, which I don't know if. Yeah. I might move on to another winner then.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Go on, tell us about it.
We're going to do Yasmin Jaiswal, Indian cricketer, who's had a lot of the spotlight shone on him this week. Rightfully so. Scored 214 not out against England at the age of 22. He now has 3. I think it's all of his centuries in Test match cricket. He's now only one of them has not been converted to a double century. So he is, once he's past 100, he is, and the other one was 150. So he is a very strong player and looks brilliant. And for the future of Indian cricket, to have another batsman like him coming through is really impressive. But his story's so good. So I was reading on Cricinfo, which we have spent a lot of time on Cricinfo this week. But so at the age of 12, he moved from like a rural village in Uttar Pradesh to Mumbai to play cricket, but couldn't afford a place to sleep. So it ended up being that he was sleeping in tents and selling food for money. And then a local coach sort of saw his talent, and took him under his wing. And then sort of 2 years later, Jaiswal was playing cricket for this coach, was spotted by a sort of Indian county, and his career started to take off. Was selected for the Under-19 World Cup for India, smashed it, got a really lucrative contract with Rajasthan Royals in the IPL, where he, in his first season, set the record for the fastest 50 in IPL history.
How many balls?
13 balls.
13?
13 ball 50.
That's insane.
Yeah. But that's the thing, like, he is so good across all three formats, which is the scary part. Like, a lot of Indian cricketers you generally tend to find are either, like, you look at someone like a Surya Kumar Yadav, who is incredible in T20s, but, like, and arguably you'd think would be a better T20 player, but when you've got someone like Jaiswal who is scoring a 13 ball 50 and can also get a 214 in a test match, that's a player. But yeah, 214 against England has been great. In his 7 matches, currently now averages 71, with a high score of 214, 300s, 250s. And yeah, just looks a
Johnny
superb
Bairstow's current average is 17.
Yeah.
Versus that 71.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Johnny Bairstow is a loser this week,
and
so we will get into him later. But
I thought the amazing thing with Jaiswal this week was that he retired injured after he just got his century.
Yeah.
And then later down, when England, maybe they've got him in the back of their minds,
Yeah.
but they're not thinking about him after they're just getting pummeled and pummeled and pummeled. And then he comes back out like the Undertaker, smashes towards the second century, and really inflicting the pain.
I was going to say it was what, about 230 balls, was it?
236.
Yeah, like, he was impressive. Like, it was a really good knock, and obviously as an England fan, I don't particularly want to root for him in this series, but it's sort of difficult not to when he's got that kind of story. He's 22.
It's exciting for cricket.
Yeah,
Just
that's the thing. Like,
as a viewer.
players like this coming through, like, I'd say England's equivalent would probably be Harry Brook, where you've got a young player who is incredible. You just want to see them do well.
Scoring a double century as well.
Yeah, exactly.
In the Pakistan
That's
series,
2 double centuries in his first 7 games. Like, that's impressive. I think he's the quickest player to ever hit 2 double centuries.
What, Brook or Jaiswal?
No, Jaiswal.
Yeah.
I think he beat Sachin Tendulkar's record, but don't quote me on that.
Well,
not
Alfie,
sure.
we can find out, can't
I
we?
was going to say,
Yeah.
I thought I read something about that. I feel like he's 3rd.
Is it? Let's have a look.
I could be wrong, but
He's the first Indian batter and 7th overall to convert his first 3 Test hundreds into 150 plus scores. And let's see if I've got... No, I've not. Oh, the other thing, actually, that I completely forgot to mention was he tied the record for the most sixes in a single inning by a batsman in a Test match, tying his captain, Rohit Sharma. So, again, like, that's the thing. Like, a player like that doing that in a Test match is so impressive.
Poor Rian Ahmed.
I love, by the way,
like,
and I've said that for a long time. I
got-
love Rian Ahmed.
I'm looking at the figures here. 25 overs. He got 108 put past him.
What was the economy on that? Can't do the maths quickly.
4.3. It was Jimmy Anderson who actually had more of a torrid
Yeah.
time, who went for 6s.
It was a hat trick of 6s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was 78 runs off of 13 overs.
Yeah, that's
no
tough.
wickets. Yeah, economy of 6.
It's
Which is
but the
rough.
thing is, like, with someone like Jimmy, you can't take him out because you know how good he can be.
But he might be taken out for the next test because I've seen that Ollie Robinson's going to be coming in.
Is he?
Yeah.
Interesting. I wonder if it would most likely be Jimmy making way.
Yeah.
But then also you do have Johnny Bairstow to think about, who has been really poor and has been poor since the injury. He's been really. I mean, I will talk about him in the losers, but he has been really poor.
I mean, maybe slight silver lining for England is that Jasprit Bumrah is being rested for this test. So there's a bit of...
Thank God.
So, I mean, you'd think that this is a more, like, spin-friendly pitch then, if they're resting their best pace bowler. But he has bowled a lot of overs.
He has. I mean, he's been their best bowler and the one that they've
devastating effect.
Yeah, he'd be incredible. I mean, he could feasibly be a winner again. Like he is so good, and I don't know how old he is, but I don't think he's particularly old, which means that Indian cricket is thriving at the minute, and I think they're going to take some stopping. T20 World Cup will be interesting, and that's the Bumrah's another one who is good across all three formats. So you've got that's the thing. This Indian team currently are really strong across the board. It's just the depth, and it's seeing who you can slot into that team to make it win championships, win World Cups. So it's a good time to be an Indian fan, but also a good time to be an England fan, I think.
Okay.
What are we seeing now in the rest of the series?
It'll be an interesting one. I think hopefully, what I'd like is I don't want England to shy away from playing the way that they have been playing, and I mean again it's something that is worth talking about. But you see a lot of things going like obviously this was a record loss for England, and so you look at that and go, is it Bazball's fault? I don't think so. I think the way that England play, it's going to go one of two ways. Either we are going to chase a 400 and it's going to be the best thing we've ever done, or we're going to lose like this. But England showing this kind of intent is massive in terms of the England team of a few years ago would have attempted to block this game out for a draw, lost, and it would have been, but they tried, they were playing for the draw. I would rather England go out and attempt to chase it and go out swinging than... Because you're out regardless, whether you've defended it to slip or you've reverse scooped it to slip. Do you know what I mean? And I think I would rather us go for it and lose than us not go for it and still lose.
I mean, history books are still going to say that England lost by a record margin in India.
Absolutely.
424
But
runs.
then you could see the next test where England chase 400. That's this England team, I think, in a nutshell, where sometimes it's going to work and sometimes it isn't. But I would rather us take that gamble and take that risk than, just block it out or do what the England team of old would have done, which is battle and lose.
God, we win the moral series every time.
Every
we play.
time. We're the moral goats, I think.
I think generally I agree with you, but the thing that kind of bugs me about Bazball the most isn't actually the cricket itself. It's the kind of self-importance of some of the England players, which leans into arrogance. I think Ben Duckett, this series, obviously fantastic knock from him. What was it, 150 something?
Yeah, batted really well.
Yeah, batted fantastically. But then he comes out after England get battered on day 3 and says, they can put as many runs as they want on the board. We'll go and chase it down. And
I quite like that.
Yeah, but when you go and lose by 400 runs, it makes you look like a
but
silly
what would you
goose.
rather him say? Oh, no, I don't think we're going to get it.
I'd rather he be a little bit more humble than that.
I'd
rather he say, we'll look to chase it down. Not that, they can put as many as we want past us, but we are England, mighty England, the lion roars again.
No, but I think
perhaps that's a bit
I think it's part of the mentality that comes with Bazball. They go into every inning with the belief that they can chase it and they will chase it. And whether or not they do, I would rather them come out with that mentality and show that mentality than go, maybe we'll do it, maybe we won't. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you like it a bit more personality.
Yeah, I think, and that's the point with this England team, I think. I would rather them be a little bit more arrogant and a little bit more showing self-belief than respectful, meek.
Yeah, well, from a fan's point of view, you never want your team to go out there and sort of give up. You know what I mean?
No, exactly.
I think, though, you can look to someone who's, captained a very successful side in Pat Cummins.
Yeah.
Who is always incredibly humble and yet devastating on the pitch.
He's a lovely bloke, isn't he?
He's great.
I'd love to go for a drink with Pat Cummins. I think he's brilliant.
Pat Cummins is a top player, top captain, and he always says the right thing. Duckett said, the quote was, "the more the better," after day 3, and that he also said after Jaiswal's double century on day 4, he said, it's good that they're playing differently, referring to Jaiswal now, and that England should take credit from that. As in, yeah, I don't agree with that.
No, I don't agree with that. Yeah, it is an interesting one. I think, I don't know. I like this current England team, and I like that they show fight and that they show belief. But I guess it is a fine line, and actually the Pat Cummins thing is really interesting because he does just come across as an absolutely lovely bloke, and is an absolute weapon on the pitch. He's unbelievable. So yeah, it's a good debate to have.
Yeah, it's the debate whether, Bazball, Stokes as the captain of this Bazball team, has the highest win percentage of any England Test captain ever. Really, it's about 60% at the moment. But say like the World Test Championship, are England going to win that playing Bazball? I don't think so.
No, and that's the thing. It's where do you what's the intent for this England team? Are we still in a rebuild, or are we now looking to win games? Like, what's the... And not that we weren't looking to win games, but I mean more so, what's the focus? Are we looking to go out and win every game, or are we still developing this team into a team that are going to win every game? I think the thing is, I think in a year's time, we'll see truly what this England team looks like. Because the old guard are now dropping off. You think Jimmy's probably got a year left in him. Johnny
we say that every year.
Yeah, but Johnny Best, though, unless he pulls out an absolute blinder in his next 2 tests, I think he's done. I don't see a place for Johnny Best though in this team anymore. Especially when Harry Brook is back in. Ben Folkes is so brilliant with the gloves that we don't need him as a keeper. Harry Brook is great and scores at a better rate currently than Johnny Bairstow does. So I think it's the end of YJB. I don't see a spot for him.
Is the Y young or Yorkshire?
So this is what I was googling. Apparently, Johnny Bairstow's brother James plays cricket too. So they couldn't just call him JB, and then the Y got slotted in, but no one knows what the Y actually means. Different people say different things. So some people think it's Yorkshire's Johnny Bairstow, some people think it's young. I think it's young, and I like the idea of it being young Johnny Bairstow.
Young Johnny Bairstow.
Because in my head, I call you YJB. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, you do call me Young Jimmy.
Yeah.
I don't know how you get away with it, to be honest, but I've kind of let you slide. So.
Would anyone else like to take a winner?
Yeah, I can do. I can lead us in. I'm sure we've all got a similar winner. Obviously, Jimmy will agree with this. I've gone for Rasmus Hojlund this week.
I heard that.
He scored 6 for his 6th successive Premier League game. He scored twice away at Luton at the weekend, and Man United have now got 4 league games on the spin.
Yep.
Is that correct?
It is.
Obviously, he's got 9 goals and assists out of his last 6, and he sort of turned it around from earlier on in the season where he'd gone, 14 games without scoring a goal.
Yep.
So he's really picked it up, and I'm sure you've got plenty to say on that as well. Yeah.
He's playing with the confidence that perhaps a 20-year-old, 21-year-old striker should have.
Yeah.
That he didn't have at the start of the season. But, I'm very sceptical of Erik ten Hag, and I don't think he's going to last beyond the season.
Mm-hmm.
But
why is that?
Well, I see him in a similar vein to almost like Louis van Gaal,
right?
In that he might lead us to an FA Cup or a top 4 or something.
We're winning the FA Cup,
but it's not enough, and I don't think he's shown enough this year that's built upon last year. To show that he's the man that Ineos should take forward under the.
I was going to say with a whole new sort of restructure coming in.
I think this is your chance to sort of get someone new in at that point. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
If you get a new takeover.
I'd love to see. Inter played last night and they beat Atletico 1-0. I think Simone Inzaghi is a fantastic manager who plays a really exciting brand of football, and I think he'd be really perfectly suited to United, especially when we try and compete with your Liverpools and Cities and Arsenals. I hate saying that we're competing with Arsenal now. It feels strange. They should still be in a banter era.
But I think that's what Arsenal did so brilliantly was the whole Arteta project.
Oh yeah.
I think, and that's where United could almost learn a lesson.
Well, it was sort of laughed at initially, wasn't it? With Arteta.
Well,
his first season
was
quite disappointing.
But they gave him time.
But now, look how good that side is.
If you take a young manager and give him time, you could end up with an Arteta.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I do admire Ten Hag for the fact that he's kept this faith in Hojlund. We signed him for £70 million at the start of the season, which is a lot of money for a then 20-year-old. But that's an investment in the potential that this guy has and that we're seeing now. I'm sure that he'll blow cold again at the end of the season. I don't expect this scoring run to continue.
No.
And maybe he'll go another 10 games without scoring. But equally, I back him at the start of next season to go on a 12-game scoring streak and break Vardy's record.
He does look a much better player now, I must say, than he did. Obviously, more complete now.
Yeah.
He's obviously getting in with the assists as well.
His composure looks better, I think.
Yeah.
I think he looks relaxed. The ball falls to him and you expect him to score now.
Which is a great trait for a young striker to have.
I mean, the goal he scored against, was it Wolves? The goal we talked about a couple of weeks ago on the podcast. I think it was the Wolves game.
The one where he just gets a little prod on the keeper?
No. Controls it in the box.
Villa. Was that his first?
It'll have been Villa.
The 3-2.
Yeah. That was a lovely finish. Yeah.
It was,
Yeah.
and that was
He
his
does
first.
score nice goals, doesn't
Yeah.
he?
Yeah.
Like he's fun to watch.
Did you see that one off his chest at the weekend against Luton?
I did. That was a nice goal.
Like that was like intentional as
Yeah.
well. Like he meant.
Well, it was 2 goals in the first. Was it 6 minutes?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Man United's
Interesting.
fastest away goal.
Ever.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, in Premier League history.
That's mad, isn't
Wow.
it?
37 seconds.
Go on, Proddy. You're saving your job here.
Interesting stuff.
Good man.
So you're now up to 6, 5 points off the top 4. Do you reckon it's sort of doable?
With a +1 goal difference,
Yeah.
which is fantastic.
How do you see that panning out for the rest of the season?
I don't see United finishing top 4 just
Really?
because I don't think that the current football we're playing is good enough to sustainably reach top 4 over the next 13 or so games I think is left. We've had some, like the win over Villa, they played better than us, but we played well as an away team at Villa Park, which is a tough ground that they've been very strong at.
Which hurts to hear.
Yeah.
It does hurt to hear that.
But then, that Luton win. Obviously, Luton have been quite good at home as well. They've, City beat them by 1 goal. They got a draw with Liverpool, and they only lost in the last minute against Arsenal. But to see our midfield get completely overrun like that time and time again by Ross fucking Barkley is it's quite disheartening to watch.
Yeah, to really, really work for that. It
Yeah.
was such an interesting game to watch. Like, the intensity from both teams was really enjoyable to watch. So I think you did well to come away with all 3 points.
Yeah.
Well,
Not
especially with
dropped.
Luton coming up fighting at the moment.
Yeah.
aren't they, aren't
Yeah.
they?
Do
Yeah.
you
I'm
think
really-
they're going to save it?
I
Do you
hope
think
so.
they're gonna-
I'm really rooting for Luton.
Yeah, I
They've
think
got Sorry, go on.
I think it's difficult to sort of, there's a couple of teams down there. I just think there's worse teams than them. I think of all the teams that are down there, I think they're the one that sort of get out of it.
So they're level on points with Everton with a game in hand.
Everton are a worse team, though.
Yeah, I agree.
But the thing that's going to decide whether teams go down this season is the whole points deductions thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Forest could get deducted 10 points. Everton could get another 10, or they could get their 10 reinstated. It's going to be a really odd season where it might, full time on the final day we might
It
not
might
know
look
who's
completely,
relegated.
Yeah.
it might look completely different to what it does now. Obviously, I think Sheffield United are sort of dead and
they're
buried
down.
by now.
Yeah.
2 5-0 defeats in the space of a month or something like that.
I think them and Burnley are gone, but that third spot,
I've just seen Sheffield United's goal difference.
mate, it's terrible.
Minus 43.
horrendous.
They've
That, and
conceded 65 goals this season.
Yeah.
so
I
what
mean,
does that work out on average?
Too
Do the
many.
math.
25. It's
2 point.
no 3 point. No,
No,
2.
two-
Yeah,
2
sorry,
point
sorry. I'm taking it
Yeah,
back.
the-
3,
yeah.
2 point
Yeah.
something.
Every
right.
game.
2 point something.
Maths isn't your
Yeah.
forte.
That's why we do journalism.
But yeah, I was watching that Sheffield United Brighton game at the weekend, and before the match, the two teams between them had conceded 100 goals
Wow.
in a combined 98 games. So over 2 goals a game between the two, which I think is
impressive.
pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And then add another 5 onto that, crikey. But yeah, I don't think United will finish top 4, and I think that will be the catalyst to sack Ten Hag.
Yeah, I
and
don't
start
necessarily
afresh.
think it's because United are weak. But I think it's the teams above you don't look like they're going
Yeah.
to fall off.
Do you think
You've got
Villa's going to stay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think by this point, I think a bit earlier on in the season, if you'd have asked me, I don't think they'd have been able to sustain it. But you've reached February and they're still obviously playing superb football. Do you know what I mean? I just don't think it'll be them or Tottenham.
I think Spurs will do it.
Yeah.
I think they're of the 3, United, Villa, and Spurs. I think Spurs are the better team.
Yeah.
Villa are very good, under Unai Emery. Don't get me wrong, which is not nice for you to hear as a rival Birmingham club. But yeah, I don't see them staying at that level. Whereas Spurs, they've got everyone back fit now, mostly.
Yeah.
Like Maddison's back now, Son's back from the Asian Cup, Van der Ven's fit again. The only people they're missing really are Porro and Adogi, but I don't think they're supposed to be out for that long.
No.
So we've seen that can be a really effective team going forward. Obviously they're a bit leaky at the back, but I don't think it's because they're bad defenders. It's just because of the style of
Yeah.
football. I mean, I know you're bursting to talk about the Wolves Spurs game, which we will do in a bit.
I am.
Beautiful smile.
Definitely, yeah.
But yeah, I think Spurs will do it.
While we're on the sort of topic, who do you think's going to win the league?
Oh,
Such an interesting
well,
question.
I've sort of got my hands tied. I've got to say Liverpool. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
If
yeah.
I don't-
you're in trouble
if I
if you don't
don't
say
say
Liverpool.
Liverpool, I think I'll be dumped. Do you know what I mean? Personally, I
dub.
don't think you're going to listen to this, but personally, I think Man City will do it. I just think they've got the experience. We've been in this position so many times. Last season with Arsenal, the season before it was with Liverpool as well, wasn't it? Where,
Who would you want to win the league? Not necessarily who you think will, but who would you want to?
I know who I don't want to.
Who
Like,
do you-
I don't want City
don't-
to
I
win.
don't-
like,
I
I'm a
don't
bit-
want City to
I'm
win.
a bit. I think they're
I'd like to
dull.
see
It's-
Arsenal
that's
win.
I was-
boring.
I don't-
I want to see Arsenal win it.
I
I
think
think
it'd be nice to
Arsenal
see a
will win it.
change.
I hope Arsenal.
how I
Win.
see
My
it.
brother's an Arsenal fan, and
Right,
that brother's been in the trenches. Like, I want to see them do well.
Yeah.
I'd like to see them do well.
It'd be good to see a new team win
Yeah,
the league. You know, Man
that's-
City have done
Yeah,
it.
that's so boring
what,
otherwise.
3
And
years?
the
in a row?
Arsenal story is so good. Like I like Arteta. I think he comes across well. I think their current crop of players comes across well, excluding Thomas Partey, who's a knob. But that's
And Ben
beside.
White.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
stand that
put the
man.
two at the same level.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
Partey's slightly a worse person. But no, I think I really hope Arsenal go and do it.
And I think they will, and that is
Oh, yeah.
why they are my first winner this week.
Great, unbelievable
Lead us in.
segue. Unbelievable segue. Crack on.
Arsenal are 11-0 in their past 2 games. They beat West Ham 6-0 away, which we talked about briefly last week, and they beat Burnley 5-0 away this week. So
It's also 21-2 in their last 5.
Yeah.
it's
Jesus.
yeah,
Yeah.
they are. I think they're looking the strongest of the 3 title
Yeah.
contenders.
Well, they obviously beat Liverpool, didn't they?
Yeah,
3 games ago.
they did.
They were much better than Liverpool. in
I'd
that
back
game.
them to beat City at the moment because I think Arsenal look like a better team than City. You know, last night they beat Brentford 1-0, and they just weren't really that convincing. I think the thing with City is that they're missing Gundogan a lot. That captain,
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
solidity.
Arsenal do have a tough run in, actually. They play Chelsea, City, Villa, Spurs, United.
Yeah, but in a way that could sort of
Yeah.
play to their benefit if they go and
Yeah.
beat those teams.
Oh,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
if they
beat
do,
City,
it'd
To
become-
be the best,
and
you've
if
got to
they,
beat
if
the
they
best.
if they beat Spurs, yeah.
Yeah, speaking of Chelsea, Arsenal's goal difference is actually better than Chelsea's points.
Oh, wow,
Jesus.
wasn't it?
Arsenal's goal difference is 36 and Chelsea's points is 35.
Wow,
What a drop off. Very bad.
that's insane.
Yeah, we're
Doesn't get
level
talked
we're
about
level on
enough,
points
does
with
it?
Chelsea, which is
I love that stat.
yeah,
I
that's
love
unreal. That's unbelievable work, Proddy.
Yeah, but yeah,
Well, on Arsenal, they've won their last 5 games in a row.
Saka
So-
looks absolutely unplayable at the moment.
Yeah.
Which is again a turnaround from the start, from sort of midway through the season,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
I mean I think I sold him in FPL.
I've
Oh,
seen,
he's still in mine.
Yeah, he's,
still
he's
in
back
mine.
in. He's back
Happy
in.
with it, yeah.
But
you know, I've seen some like disgusting comparisons between Saka and young Ronaldo, which I don't think are warranted. But the comparisons that I do think are quite interesting are between Saka and young Gareth Bale.
ooh,
They've
Alright.
got very similar stats from the games played. I think Bale's got 10 more goals and 10 fewer assists than Saka in about the same amount of Premier League games, including that little spell that he had a couple of years ago in the pandemic. But, you know, these are players that both transitioned from... I mean, Saka under Arteta right at the start was playing like a right wing-back.
Was he?
Right wing-back, right-back sort of thing. And then
didn't
he's
know
moved further up the pitch, which a lot of players do. That's kind of like the thing.
Yeah.
So Ashley Young, he started as a right winger, now he's been a right-back for donkey's years. But, yeah, I think their stats are really similar. I think their journeys are quite similar, and I can really see Saka in a few years making that jump. You could see Saka at Madrid, couldn't you?
that would be scary. if they get Mbappe and you have Saka with him,
And Bellingham.
oh,
Oh,
Jesus.
imagine.
That's some team.
I could definitely see Saka at Madrid, but I know Arsenal fans would
That's a
absolutely
football manager wet dream.
absolutely flame me for
God, I might have
even
to try that out
speaking about
tonight.
a Saka transfer right now. But I think that's the sort of thing that could happen, like Rashford to PSG could happen.
Well, if you think if Saka goes, they'll bring in Pedro Neto.
Yeah, well,
They'll take Pedro Neto
Yeah.
off.
he's
very
getting worried
quickly.
now.
But he's not going to go this year, and Pedro Neto is obviously going to come to Man United. As
No,
Ineos'
please.
I think he's got a
first
couple of years
marquee
left in
signing.
Arsenal, if I'm being honest. Yeah.
I could not do this podcast with you if I had to see Pedro Neto in a Man United shirt. It would kill me. It would actually, like, I don't think I could talk to you.
I would love it.
No,
I'd love it if
no.
we beat them. Love it. Yeah, Saka's been incredible.
Yeah. Martin Odegaard,
Odegaard is,
as usual, you know.
he's gone the other way, Real Madrid to Arsenal. I
Yeah.
know Saka hasn't made that move yet, but he will.
Yeah.
But Odegaard's, he's found his feet in the Prem. He looks really strong. He captain's captain as well. Like, it's the armband suits him, I think.
Yeah.
The only thing that they need to really upgrade is Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah. But I think that'll come in the summer.
Yeah.
I think if they don't
Who
upgrade
do you reckon they go for? They've got plenty of options.
Not Tony.
Victor Osherman.
Ooh,
Yeah, well, that's always thrown about,
Yeah.
isn't it? Whether it actually happens or not.
Harry Kane.
Oh, hot
Oh, that
topic,
would
eh?
That would be so
Hot topic.
good.
That would be delicious.
That would be incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, Arsenal and also Arsenal women are also a winner this week for me. I've kind of lumped them in as one club, like Arsenal as the club. They beat Man United 3-1 in front of a record crowd at the Emirates. I think it was 60,000+.
Wow.
60,160.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Roddy! This man is fighting for his job.
Well, that's more than most Premier League games, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
That's nearly double our capacity.
That's a brilliant turnout for the female.
I mean,
female game.
yeah, which makes it all the more surprising that they often play their games in front of like a couple of thousand people at a substandard like League Two / National League ground.
It's National League ground, I think.
Yeah, I think it's the National League ground. So, you know, if they can sell that out, then, you know, why can't they play there every week? Obviously, there's the clash with Arsenal, but, you know, they should be playing in front of bigger crowds every week.
Absolutely.
And in terms of the title race, I think that a few weeks ago, it was looking like Chelsea were going to run away with it again. But now it looks like there's also kind of a three-way title race in the WSL between Chelsea, Man City and Arsenal.
And well, they're 3 points off top Arsenal at the moment. Alfie's got it up.
This man is doing
It
work
is.
today.
Up the Prodford.
Yeah, I saw a thing actually the other week that the Chelsea women lost their first home game in 3 years.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was to Brighton. No, Brighton was that other one. I can't remember who it was, but yeah.
So, for reference, so Chelsea are on 34
Mhm.
up top. City women are level with them on 34, and Arsenal women on 31. So it is all to play for. I mean, there's a big gap then to United women. So it is going to be one of those three. isn't it,
Sack
really?
Mark Skinner, by the way. Just saying. But yeah, so Arsenal, my winners of the
Yeah,
week.
well, there's such a good collective spirit there as well at the
Yeah.
moment. It's been,
Yeah.
I mean, it's been like that for a year or two, but yeah, it's definitely prominent at this moment.
Can I jump in with a winner that's a bit away from?
You
football?
absolutely
Push
can.
So I've got Facundo Diaz Acosta.
Right.
Is he by any chance a tennis player?
He is, yeah.
Of course he is. Smashing.
Here we go.
So he was already a winner before the early hours of this morning. So he was a wild card in the Buenos Aires Open, which is, I think it was Alcaraz. Is that right, Jim? He was the one that won it before.
You're the one who's
Yeah,
the
Alfie,
product.
Alfie, you're supposed to be.
You're
You're
You're a
supposed to know
tennis
this.
specialist
Right,
correspondent.
Back on probation for
I
you.
think he was. So this guy was a wild card, and he won against Jarry 6-3, 6-4 in the final, and didn't drop a set within the whole tournament.
Wow.
Jarry beat Alcaraz on the way to that final
Yes.
as well, so that's like a big win.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's impressive.
And then the early hours of this morning, in the Rio Open, he upset Stan Wawrinka in straight sets.
Would you call it an upset?
I would, because I think he's still a decent player. I would say.
I
Even
mean,
if-
he's fat. Like
Hang on a minute.
Hang on.
Hang on a minute.
I know, right? Ironic.
Hold it there, Jimmy.
You know,
Don't throw stones.
Yeah,
son.
pot kettle black. But I mean, Stan is a chunky lad. Like, his backhand is still fantastic. Like, there's been a lot of chat in the tennis world this week, Alfie. I'm sure you would have seen about the lack of single-handed backhanders.
Yeah, in the top 10.
In the top 10, because they're all double-handed. But Stan's like single-handed backhand. He showed it a few times in the opening few games because he went 5-2 up. I was watching on Sky Sports Tennis. Absolute godsend, that Chandler's. He was just like, he looked so elegant with it, but then he just got really angry because he kept losing. He was 5-2 up in the first set and he lost 7-5.
Jesus.
And then he was 3-0 down, 3-love. Sorry.
Ooh.
We got to speak tennis here. He was 3-love down in the second set. Came back to, so that was a double breakdown. Came back to, I think he had 3 break points to tie it up at 3-3, but then he didn't, and he lost 6-4. So straight sets defeat for Stan.
Yeah.
It was his first time at the Rio Open, which is rare for like a veteran like Stan, 3-time Grand Slam winner, to not have been to every ATP event. But first time in Rio, the fans were on his side. They were loving him, but sent home early by Facundo Diaz Acosta. Second best Facundo after Pellistri.
I like him.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, while we're on the topic of tennis, I may as well go into my second winner, which is Andy Murray. He's earned his first win of 2024 this week. Is that correct,
Well,
Arthur?
has he been a double loser this season?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was
So
he
he's on
back-to-back
the
losers?
winners on the winners side this time.
Great.
He
He must have been listening.
Yeah, well, they beat Alexander Muller in the opening round of the Qatar Open. They'll send in a 6-match losing streak stretching back to October. So, and as you told me before the podcast, he's currently playing at this moment.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm just
And how's that looking?
I'm trying to. Oh, here you go. He's 4-3 Menschik at the minute.
All right. Yeah.
Are they still on serve?
I don't even know what that means.
I'll have a look.
Is he?
No, Menschik's a break-up in the first set.
Yeah, Menschik actually
They just speak a different
did an
language.
upset in the first round because the 18-year-old beat the world number 25, Fakina. In the
Say that
first-
again. Sorry.
Yeah.
Right.
So
we've had-
doing what?
We've
Sorry?
had a couple of
name is
questions.
Fakina.
No, Davidovich Fokina.
I thought it was Fakina.
I think it's Fokina.
I think we should keep it like that. I like
Yeah.
that.
I'll tell you who else is currently playing.
No.
It's your favourite.
Is it? It's not. It's not.
It's
It is.
It's Martin Fušovics,
Oh.
who's playing against Alexander Bublik.
Yes.
Oh, you had me. You had me.
Oh, the little bait and
Right.
switch.
Well, Chris, we're filming this week, so no
Yeah. No.
wandering
Hang
around
on
the
a
room.
minute.
It was you who were doing it.
Yeah.
though.
Hang on a
Give
minute.
over.
Don't come at me. You started it. I just finished it.
Sound levels went
Finished
through
it in
the
some
roof.
style.
That was fantastic.
That's a serious jump.
Oh.
Oh, man.
Clip that, probably. Clip.
Yeah.
Also currently playing Coco Gauff against Karolina Pliskova, and they're one set apiece.
Nice.
Good stuff. Any
Anyone
more
else?
winners?
I can go.
Go for it.
Yeah, I've got
Treat yourself.
an honorary mention because I do Wolves every week, so I'm not going to put them in as a winner. But they're my little a slight honorary mention. Beat Spurs, great play,
Mm-hmm.
and with Cunha out, you know, I didn't go in expecting loads. I thought it might be a tough one, and we played them off the park. We were brilliant away at Spurs. A great result. Pedro Neto looks bloody brilliant as well. And João Gomez scoring 2, who said at the start of the season that he wants to have a little bit more of an attacking role, and now he's getting it. So yeah, that's an honorary mention. My final winner though is Damian Lillard, who was named All-Star Game MVP in a record win for the East over the West, which was I think the highest scoring ever NBA All-Star Game. But yeah, scored 39 points, 11 3-pointers. It's a record in an All-Star Game for points. So it surpassed the game itself surpassed 196, which was scored by the West in 2016. And yeah, you had Jaylen Brown who scored 36 and Tyrese Haliburton scored 32. But yeah, just a nice one to see. I mean, not too much to say, but a good little performance. The All-Star Game's an interesting one though because, like, I guess obviously it makes sense. You know, they're not going out there and playing at 100% because they don't want to injure themselves in a game that doesn't matter. But at the same time, you're just seeing like stupid shit happen. Like then, like it's basically just who can score the best. Like who can do the coolest shit. Like it would be, and it would never happen because of that sort of risk of injury. But it would be really interesting to see an All-Star game where they actually did just go all out for it and actually did, you know, push themselves. It's like the NFL have the Pro Bowl, where again it's the same thing. Like no one's playing defense. It's just who can score the most outlandishly. So yeah, you know, there's a. Would you want to see an All-Star game in the Premier League?
No,
No.
No.
Why?
because it would be terrible.
Why would it be terrible?
It would be awful. First of all, what are the teams going to be? Because you can't divide it like east-west like you can in America. You can't exactly have
North
north-south.
versus South.
South, yeah.
North
To be fair, I would
A,
back
it would
that.
be shite
Yeah.
because
No.
North would win every time. B, where the fuck do the Midlands go? That's like a wasteland. Do we
That's
have
a
them?
political
Hey,
debate,
hang on a
that.
minute.
Do we have them in
Hang on
like
a
a
minute.
bronze medal match?
We do the line, yeah.
No, need
No,
for
I
that.
think you just get the best. You pick the best 30 players across the board, and you go, regardless of which team they play for, you have a voting system like they do in the NBA, where you go, okay, fans can vote for who they think the top 30 players are. The top 30 vote receivers play in a game. The managers are also voted, so you get like your all-star managers, so you bring him back, you know, like Ferguson, get him managing a
Oh,
game.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You do that, you
Mate,
have the
the-
best 30.
The heart attacks that that man would have if he had to manage the current crop of absolute pansies.
But
that
who would
permeate the Premier
captain
League.
both teams? Do you think? Like in this current, or who would be the sort of number one pick for both teams?
Number
Like, so
one
who are
pick.
your top two?
We've got
Haaland.
Haaland's got to be.
So Erling Haaland
number
has
one.
to be one.
Yeah.
Who comes
And
second?
Salah, probably.
Yeah.
Do you reckon?
Haaland
Salah.
and Salah.
Yeah. But how cool would it be to see Haaland and Salah play, like on
They
the same
play each
team?
other twice a fucking
No,
season.
but on the same team.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Come on.
I've got
it's-
FIFA for
yeah.
that.
I think it would be a showcase.
And then they
I
probably,
think I might have been Americanized.
mate,
you know?
they probably play it in like Saudi as well. 'cause,
No,
like,
no.
Yeah, they would. Yeah,
They would.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
they
yeah.
absolutely would.
Definitely,
They
yeah.
play it in Saudi. You'd have that's another game to go on the calendar that the
Pay-per-view.
players don't already need. And we've talked so much about like protecting players and too many games. So I think it's just a load of Americanized bollocks, basically.
I think it's also
But
on
it
the
would be
same level
fun.
as like seeing at a derby when the two players are like shaking hands before they go, like in the dugout and in the tunnel. Like it's like you want that rivalry and
Yeah.
you want it to maintain that atmosphere.
Are we maintaining kayfabe in the Premier League? It's like the WWE, fucking hell.
To be fair, I just think it would be a cool experience. Do you know what I mean? It would be
I
like
think that thing's
the-
sort of
the-
reserved for your legends.
Yeah,
you know
but
what I
like
mean?
an
Like,
all-star, like the all-star weekend in the NBA does so well. Like the dunk contests. Or okay, how about not a game, but like you know how like the NBA have
Penalty
like
shootout.
No, I'm saying we do
on,
it like
crossbar
like a Chris
challenge.
MD, like, yeah, crossbar challenge, free kick challenge.
No.
We get Mini Minter out. It'll bang.
That's what soccer
It'll
Saturdays
go
for.
off.
We'll get Mini Minter out. Yeah, I'm sure Richard Masters, head of the Premier League, is listening to Chris right now. All in good sport. Yeah, let's get Mini Minter at Wembley.
We'll
And let's
cover
get
the
him to
event.
do a
I'm trying to see
crossbar
Chris
challenge.
MD take on Martin Odegaard.
He already has.
Yeah, I'm
is
trying to
he
see it on the big
tune?
stage.
The big
In front-
stage
in front of
of
90,000
Guernsey.
people.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
obviously. Or Jersey. That's Chris's.
What's the ground that he used to play on called?
Oh God, Proddy, get on this.
Where did Chris MD used to
It
film
was
his
like
videos?
the Fortress, wasn't it?
Yeah, I
The
want to see Martin
Fortress.
Odegaard at the Fortress. That's what I want to see.
Can we get Ollie in goal?
Oh, it would go off.
Or even better, what was his sister called? I can't remember.
I don't know. I know what Rota Shaw sister's called.
Of course you do.
Why is that?
Because she was in loads of his videos back in the day.
Yeah, the Fortress.
Sweet. Anyone else for a next winner before we move on to some losers?
Bayern Leverkusen.
Is that back to back for them?
Yeah. They have now equalled Bayern's all-time German football record for the longest unbeaten run across all competitions.
Which is...
yeah.
32 games without defeat.
Wow.
That is a good statistic. That.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
impressive.
So they are. Is it 8 points clear now? At the top?
Yes.
Yeah.
After Bayern lost.
I was going to say, did Bayern lose again this week?
Yeah, 3-2 to
Yeah. Well, they're good.
Bochum.
Yeah.
Bochum.
Yeah, Leverkusen doing well, and
Mhm.
it's given more of a... Like, Alonso is going to make
Well,
that move. to
they've
Liverpool,
gone.
isn't
How
it?
many years have Bayern gone winning the league consecutively? Is it?
It was something ridiculous, wasn't it? We
13
mentioned
or
it last
something,
week.
Something like that.
Oh, yeah, you weren't here last week, were you?
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I
Yeah.
think it was 13 seasons or something without a different league winner.
Serious spelling there, Alfie.
Fuck.
Does that say Beasons? What does that even say? I have no idea what Alfie's typing here, but the nerves are getting to him. He knows his job's on the line and he's bottling it.
Just silence while we watch
Yeah.
it collapse.
For anyone listening on Spotify, this must be a horrific listen.
Anyone
right
watching on YouTube, you know.
I mean, we're getting some like keyboard ASMR from Proddy.
now. Alfie, search it, man.
We've killed him off.
I've never seen a type
What
so
is wrong
slow.
with him? Jesus Christ.
What, win the league in a row? Is that what he's asking? Because we did.
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, no, we did it last week.
It's 11.
There you go.
11. There we
why,
go.
why did you get me to search up then if you
We
already
didn't even search it up, you dosser.
Yeah, because I was so busy thinking.
You're lucky you're still on probation.
I was just looking up other unbeaten runs for one of my losers, but
Yeah.
we'll keep that under wraps for
Okay.
No, well, I've got one more winner. If anyone else
Go
has,
on.
does anyone else have any more winners?
now. I've got one more.
Yeah.
Yasmin.
Yeah.
I've got one
Yeah.
more.
Do you want to go in for one?
Yeah, well, I'll
Yeah.
do it quickly because it is another aquatics one,
No,
but
that's
it
fine.
is swimming. Actually, I'm sort of going to bring them in together.
Mhm.
Shout out to Daniel Whiffen. He won the 1500 metres and 800 metres freestyle. First Irish world swimming champion.
Wow.
Oh, right.
And very, very impressive swims. one to look out for in the Olympics. Little shout out to him. Also, Freya Colbert in the 400 IM. These two in particular, because 1500, 400, 800 are incredibly difficult swims to do, especially the IM. These are the ones which bring together all 4 strokes, and to win that is incredibly impressive because it brings together so many different techniques, and it is a complete tactical race. And swimming is one of these sports which come down to the minutest of details, like how good your turn is. If you do a shit dive, then that's it.
Yeah.
You know, and Freya did a really good swim. She was 6th after the fly legs. She came back up into 2nd for the backstroke leg, and then sort of sat behind Franceschi, and then came flying back in the last 50 metres on the freestyle to touch her out on the finish. Did want to make a little mention about Gorbenko, who came 2nd, in that race. She is an Israeli swimmer, and she was actually booed during her interview, which was taken afterwards, which was a little bit sad to see. She's also, I should mention, born of Ukrainian parents.
Oh, Jesus.
As well, so a little bit distasteful.
Yeah, she's not having the greatest of times.
No. But silver medal. So, little shout out to her as well.
I mean, we have talked on the pod about, like, Russia being banned from the Olympics, and then, okay, if Russia's banned, why isn't Israel? So I can see why there were boos, because really, I mean, in the tennis world, we've seen, like, Sabalenka, she won Aussie, but she didn't have, like, a flag next to her name the whole time. She's from Belarus, obviously, like, very close to Russia.
Yeah.
And involved in the war in Ukraine, but for a country that's currently, according to the International Court of Justice, probably committing a genocide in Gaza, then I can totally see why there was some booing in the stands. But
then
it's not her fault.
I was going to say, like, the athletes themselves are not the ones who are deserving of the boos.
Exactly.
And it's a tough one because. I'll bring it to a sport that I sort of saw it within, but within Formula 1 you had Mazepin, and he received a load of criticism, but because his dad was best mates with Putin. So that's a situation where you look at it and go, okay, do you know what? You're having a direct relationship with what is going on. Therefore, I understand the individual criticism, but when it's a sports person who themselves has no direct correlation to what's going on, it doesn't seem particularly justifiable to try and pin the actions of a country on this.
Well, you could say it's sort of bigger than the athlete, that sort of thing. Not
exactly,
necessarily
and that's what I mean.
The
Like,
athlete themselves.
What do you gain from booing
of,
this athlete who is just trying to do their job? If she'd come out and gone, what Israel are doing is great, then you turn around and go, okay, do you know what? Boo her.
She did say a line which I don't think was meant in the same tone as what you just said, but she did say, I am, proud to swim for my country. Ooh. But which could have been the way it could be spinned in a way. But the booing was happening way before she said that. So she was booed as soon as her name was announced, as she came out for the final. And she was booed as soon as her interview started. There was jeering and mocking and stuff. And then the last line was that, which was probably a reaction to it. So, for a little bit of context, there was that one line.
But if, I was going to say, if that comes at the end, it does suggest a reaction to what's going on.
Also, it's the same sort of debate as should sport and politics be put in the same basket. I don't know if you've had this debate before.
We have.
It was a while ago.
I mean,
and the point is that they always have been, and they always will be.
Yeah,
there's
they are
nothing you can do about it, really.
It's also, if you believe in something, it's a great platform. Did you talk about, like, taking the knee and stuff?
We will mention it.
I think we were talking mainly about Saudi sports washing.
But also, like, again, within Formula 1, there's a lot of backlash. There was a lot of backlash, like, and actually across the world of motorsport, you've got Bubba Wallace, who was at the time at least the only NASCAR driver, the only black NASCAR driver, and he there was an incident in which, like, during the Black Lives Matter stuff, where he entered the garage to find a noose hung, within his garage. So, like, within sport, if you have the platform, I think it should be used, and it should not be punished for being used. Because athletes are people. They have political beliefs. They have beliefs that they believe should be shared. Now, there is obviously a case for policing those beliefs to make sure that we're not spreading hate speech. But at the same time, you have to give the people who... If you're giving them a platform to perform, you have to give them a platform to talk. Otherwise, they're performing monkeys, and we have no... There's no personality. We can't expect athletes to just turn off their beliefs because they're playing sport. They are people, and they should be treated as people.
Yeah. Although these are... We've got to be careful, though, because, you know, athletes being famous as they are, there's a risk that we can kind of over-amplify their voices as well when they give an opinion on something that, you know, does the weight of their opinion matter more than your average Joe?
Yes, it does, but at the same time, that shouldn't negate the fact that we should give them a platform to speak. Like,
I'm not saying we shouldn't, I'm just saying we've got to be
I know what you mean, but...
It's usually a media problem of trying to get clicks and blowing stuff out of proportion, but...
It's a tough one, and I think media coverage of athletes and what they say is so twisted and so taken out of context that it is a dangerous game, because all it takes is one clip.
It's such a big problem to have, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's no real solution.
No,
for it,
unless
really.
you try and then crack down on what the media can and can't say, which then sort of dilutes.
That creates another problem.
I was going to say,
doesn't it?
then you'll get an issue of what we can and can't say in the media.
Censorship and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, back on the swimming grind, I did mention this on the Friday Sport, but shout out to Laura Stevens.
Oh, amazing. 200
Yeah.
fly.
Yeah.
So unexpected.
Yeah, Britain's first individual female world champion since 2011. Swam in 2 minutes and 7.35 seconds to win gold there. Adam Peaty on his comeback has won bronze.
He's an interesting one. So this is since he's taken 5 years away from the world champs. This is his first one back, and he got that bronze in the 100, and he came 4th in the 50 breaststroke as well. He's world record holder, and I think my prediction is this is going to be the Olympics where he drops his gold.
You think?
Yeah, he's really, really struggled, and I think a world champs is okay. There is the argument. This is his first one back. He's just warming back into it, but it's not long until Paris. How much can he really do? Also, Hyang. Sorry if I've completely butchered that pronunciation, but his main Chinese competitor wasn't involved in the world champs.
Okay.
So this is adding yet another swimmer to the mix, which is threatening his position. I think he's going to... It would be amazing if he does it. But I am putting a prediction out that this is going to be a shock in the Olympics, really.
I mean, the way you've described it, it probably wouldn't be a shock if he drops it, considering he's taken so much time out for his mental health and being with his kids. I don't know if you saw an interview on the BBC that he did, where he was talking about, like, you know, I've taken a lot of time out and I've found faith and been to church every Sunday, and, you know, it was quite a heartwarming story about coming back into it. And I don't in the semi-finals he was the fastest. So I think his speed is there. He said that I think he made a mistake in his first 25 metres in the final. This is
what I mean, like, in swimming, if you make one mistake, you're out of it, especially in a 50 or 100. Both of those are sprint races. Yeah. So, yeah, those fine margins come into everything. I mean, look at him. He's a beast. He's huge.
Yeah.
And that is what these sprinters look like.
The wingspan on swimmers is insane.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, actually, because everyone goes, oh, swimmer's physique. There isn't a swimmer's physique. Everyone looks different.
Yeah.
Because you've got a 1500 swimmer who's really tall and lean, who just focuses on stamina, because that would take about 15 minutes to swim that race.
Yeah.
Whereas you look at a 50 swimmer, so Ben Proud, he's in the freestyle and he was in the fly as well, or has been in the past. Adam Peaty, breaststroke. These are huge, huge swimmers. It's just about power.
Jesus Christ, he's jacked.
Ben Proud, I feel bad for him because he always finishes fourth.
It's like Captain America, isn't it?
Like that guy is always the bridesmaid. Yeah, I don't know. I think Peaty could win gold. I don't think it's out of the question.
He won't, but I wouldn't be entirely surprised if he didn't. Yeah, it will be an interesting one to watch. To be honest, in the past, the swimming has been an incredibly exciting sport for me to watch, and I've always loved it. I actually think turn your attention to diving for the Olympics.
Okay.
There are much more exciting people there at the moment who will be pushing for gold, 100%. Andrea Spindolini Syriax, Fred Syriax's daughter.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
She did very, very well. And I believe she's like 19 or something. She's very, very young.
She win silver or something.
She won a few. So she won gold in the mixed team event with Tom Daley, Mew Jensen, Daniel Goodfellow. And I think she won bronze in her 10 metre. I think it was something like... So she won a few medals. It was very impressive from her. Mew Jensen, again, is someone else who is very exciting on the 3 metre. I think Tom Daley, Noah Williams especially, they could be very exciting.
In terms of British hopes in the swimming, though, were we still looking at Duncan Scott and Tom Dean?
Duncan Scott didn't have a particularly great world champs. There was quite a lot of just missing out in 5th. I think he is someone to watch because he's been so impressive in the past, and obviously Tom Dean is as well.
Team Bath.
I've actually swum in the same gala as Tom Dean, believe it or not. Obviously not anywhere near him. He's much older. It was when I was about 8 or 9, and yeah, I remember my dad saying he remembered seeing him on like the program and stuff. So yeah, he's great. But I don't know. Yeah, people to watch definitely in Tom Dean. I think he'll be exciting. But when they won their gold, that was a shock. So it'll be interesting to see if they can continue with that. Laura Stevens, though, I'd say you're right to mention that one.
Shall we move on to some losers?
I've got one more winner first of all.
Go.
In my absence last week, this winner was snubbed. A bit of a hot topic. Obviously, it's the mighty Bradford City.
We gave you a mention.
We got a brief mention. Yeah, I know. We wasn't very happy with that, boys.
I'm impressed that you listened to me.
No, yeah, well, we missed out on the last couple of weeks, to be honest with you. And I think it's a good moment to put us in now because we've got a semi-final tonight in the very famous John Stump Payne Trophy. What's it called now? Bristol Street Motors Trophy.
Is it not Papa John's?
Not Papa John's anymore. No, it's changed its sponsor halfway through the season.
Bristol Street Motors Trophy.
For some reason, yes. We've got a semi-final. We've done well, beaten Liverpool, Doncaster in the run up to that semi-final, and a trip to Wembley could be in order if we beat them tonight.
That sounds like an ordered sport trip to
definitely.
Wembley.
We'll beat Sutton 1-0 at the weekend, which is a 3rd consecutive league victory. We're now 2 points off the playoffs, so it sort of spun around quite well. And we've now got 5 consecutive clean sheets in the league, which is obviously another good achievement. Beat MK Dons 4-0 the week before, was probably mentioned last week, and obviously beating Wrexham as well in our past 3. So we've sort of...
It has been a good turnaround. I was going to say Bradford were a loser for a lot
we
of weeks.
usually are losers when we talk about Bradford City in this context. But there's obviously been a bit of disgruntlement around the fan base this season with the lack of progression. But it seems as though, dare I say it, we've sort of picked it up a little bit. It's starting to turn the corner.
I think you absolutely
and if we
have,
do go beat Wycombe tonight and go to Wembley, and obviously then that puts us in good stead for a run-in for the playoffs. And then we could even... dare I say it, go there again. Last time we went to Wembley twice in one season was 2013 with the League Cup final and the playoff finals. It's a similar sort of situation. We're coming in running as the outsiders for these playoffs, which is another comparison to 2013. So
remind me of the score of that 2013 final, Joe.
Yeah, should we not go there? Yeah, remind me of the last League Two team to get to a final of the League Cup.
You know what?
Fair
enough, mate. Yeah. Fair enough.
There you go.
It will be Swindon. No, it won't. I fucking hate Swindon.
Rochdale, 1962. Yeah.
Off the dome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only 2 teams that ever do it. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Time for some losers then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I lead?
This one.
I'm going to talk about Johnny Bairstow again.
YJB.
YJB, young Johnny Bairstow, who has been backed by Brendan McCullum this week and who believes that he will come good. However, across the first 6 innings of this India tour, he's averaged 17, scoring 0 and 4 respectively in the first and second innings of the third test. So from a sort of quote or from an interview with Brendan McCullum, they want to give him every chance to access the explosiveness of 2022. And across the first 6 matches of Ben Stokes' captaincy, he hit 4 centuries and averaged 75. However, since he's returned from breaking his ankle, he now averages, he's scored 424 runs at an average of 30. So it's a big drop-off. And you worry that while they want to give him time, and I get that, I think the more time they give him, the less time they're giving to players who are coming through. Obviously, Harry Brook is injured, which is why he's not playing in this current series. But it was highlighted, actually, from a Cricket Info article, from a man whose name I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce. Try it.
Vitishan Hanataraja.
That was impressive.
Smooth.
That was so impressive. Who highlighted that Bairstow's dismissal against Jadeja this time round was his 8th duck against India, but the first time that he's been dismissed playing an attacking shot, which almost suggests that Bairstow is holding back a little. I mean, when we saw in 2022 Bairstow pre-injury, he was so attacking. He was going out there, and again in the sort of spirit of Bazball, as it were, was going out and really, taking it to the bowlers. And you almost the ways that Bairstow's been dismissed post injury, he's playing like he's not in this Bazball era. He's not. It's almost like he's lost confidence, and he's not playing in the way that we expect Bairstow to play. And I said before that you give him these 2 tests and you see, but I don't know. I don't know what the future of Johnny Bairstow looks like, and I don't know if it is in this England team.
Is he going to be 100 tests and out?
I think so. I think it. Unless he dramatically turns it around, I don't see a place in this England team for him. He's not a good enough wicketkeeper. He's not batting well at the minute, and as a fielder, he's standard, if not just below that. Like, he's fine, but this England team doesn't need fine; it needs great. And players like Harry Brook are great. I think, and obviously we can't take away from what he's done in the past for this England team, but that when there are so many good young players, shout out to Sam Hain of Warwickshire, who needs an England call-up at some point soon because he's brilliant. I just think relying on the old... It's like the Moeen Ali call-up of the Ashes. Like, lovely to see him again. I love Moeen, Warwickshire captain now, but we don't need to rely on this old guard.
Do you not think, on the other hand, that experience is helpful in a way?
Absolutely, I do. But you have players with experience. You've got Jimmy Anderson, right, Joe Root, Ben Stokes. There are players in that team with experience, and I think we can't just keep picking him on the basis that he's played 100 Test matches. He is now not good enough for this England team. In my view, he is not playing at the standard expected of a player like him. If he was coming in and let's say even if he was averaging, I mean, in this series he's averaged 17. If he turned around and got a century or some kind of score, a battling inning, maybe you can make the case that he's still got something about him. But he scored 0 and 4 in the last Test match. He's averaging 17 and he's averaged 30 in the last year. That's not a player who...
It's not good reading.
It's not a player who deserves to be in this England team. And maybe he goes away, plays county championship and works his way back into the England team. It's not the end of his career for England. I just think that this England team looks better without him currently, in my view.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all hinges on the last 2 tests.
Absolutely.
Southampton are my first losers this week.
Yeah.
They've just come off of a 25-game unbeaten run, but 2 defeats in 3 championship games has halted their momentum and dropped them to about, I think they're 4th now in the championship. They lost 3-1 away to Bristol City. I mean, this run was going to come to an end at some point because they had been flying so high. But last night, lost 2-1 at home to Hull.
Another playoff contender, Hull.
Yeah, I think Fabio Carvalho scored in that one. Is he still on loan from Liverpool? I don't know.
Ex-Fulham.
Had to
get that in there.
But yeah, that's... Like, 2 defeats in 3 is really the only reason why I've got them as a loser. I was struggling to think this morning at 12:30. But
this afternoon.
But well, yeah. But yeah, so I mean, really close for that second automatic promotion spot. Leeds, Ipswich, Southampton.
Leeds look the strongest of the
yeah.
bunch.
I heavily hope that Leeds drop off. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
You know,
They don't
I
look
think
like
they-
it in
I
the
don't think-
minute.
I don't-
No.
They've got a good run at the moment at Leeds, which
One of
pains
the
me to
last
say.
5. I'm not sure
I mean,
previously. But
Ipswich have seemed to bounce back. They've had, over Christmas, they were really struggling, I think.
Yeah.
Like, not in terms of goals. They were still scoring goals, but those goals weren't turning into wins. They were 2-2, 3-3s. They lost a couple of games in there, and I think they went winless for about 6 games, or had 1 win in 6. But 3 on the bounce now. They nearly threw it away against bottom club Rotherham last night, but won 4-3 in the last minute. They were 3-1 up, 3-3 in the 95th minute,
Jesus.
and a last-minute winner from, I think it was Amari Hutchinson, made it 4-3.
is that
Well, they would be
Amari Hutchinson is
Chelsea. Is it
Chelsea? Is he Chelsea?
I think he's
he was Arsenal. I don't
Loan
know.
Might be
Army.
Arsenal,
I
yeah.
think he's one of the loans.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
one
they've-
of our
they've-
loans.
they're a team
He's
that
one of our
would be
loans.
lovely to
Amari
see in the Premier League,
Hutchinson.
wouldn't
He's one of our loans.
He is on loan from Chelsea.
Yeah.
Who's up for the next loser?
I can go. I could lead us in. It's another, and I'm not going to touch on it for too long. I'm conscious of the time a little bit, but we mentioned earlier Bayern Munich. Obviously, I think it's the start on the news that Thomas Tuchel is going to leave the club at the end of the season, and obviously now 8 points adrift from the top of the league, and they've lost 3 defeats in a row in the Bundesliga. They lost to VfL Bochum on Sunday. They were 11th in the league. Was it 3-2 defeat?
It was, yeah.
Yep. So yeah, on that note, they lost to Lazio in Europe last week.
Yep.
So yeah, not looking good for
it's
for
not.
them, is it?
So I think this could actually scupper Liverpool a bit, because they're so going to want to poach Xabi Alonso.
Yeah.
Like, that is the most Bayern Munich thing to do.
Mm.
Oh, they would,
You
wouldn't
poach. They would. They
Yeah.
absolutely would.
Yeah.
They poached the league's best coach, Xabi Alonso, bring him to Bayern, give him a pay rise, give him the keys, give him everything he wants, and they'll go and they'll go and win everything. Yeah, he was ex-Bayern. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes there, but equally, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to Liverpool. I don't know.
It's going to be a really interesting summer, I think. Like, there's going to be a lot of movement.
There's a lot of managerial changes. I
Yeah.
think most of the, apart from City, Spurs, and Arsenal, I mean, Liverpool are going to have a new manager. United might have a new manager. Who else is going to have
Just
new
everyone
managers?
please leave Gary O'Neill alone. No
Barcelona,
one touch him.
Barcelona are going to have a new manager
Yeah.
because Xavi's stepping down at the end of the season. We'll have to see how Oliver Glasner settles in at Palace.
Yeah.
I mean,
What do we think about Hodgson leaving?
It was time.
I think to be honest with you, it's just a decision that was going to happen. It's come early. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not-
Yeah, I think he stepped down with so
There
much
was-
grace.
Yeah.
Like, he couldn't have gone in a better way, really. Like,
No.
in the context of the game,
he's
no.
not dead.
Well, he's pretty young.
Yeah, I was going to say, so he's
Was
knocking
he
on the door.
76 or something?
Yeah,
yeah,
he's old.
yeah. I mean, I mean, in terms of the way that he stepped down, like, to step aside and allow people to get on with the movement.
I just don't think. I think if he'd have stayed, it'd just been delayed in the inevitable.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
exactly.
It
You
was
can
going to
live-
happen
yeah.
at the end of the
Surely
season.
David
Head held
Moyes
Yeah.
is precarious at the minute.
I don't understand that though. If I'm being completely honest with you,
completely do.
I
They're
no,
turgid.
to be
They're
honest,
horrific to watch at the
but
minute.
to see what West Ham have become of these last 2 seasons or so, I think what he's done a magnificent job. You know,
And to be fair, I mean, they are ninth of the table.
Do you know what I mean? The table is it's not bad.
At
really.
the same time,
The
winless
table
in their
never
last,
lies. as my
winless
dad
in their
would
last
say.
5.
Yeah, but
But the thing is, like, not even just on results, they're a horrific watch at the minute.
yeah, well, you can't argue with that, can you? Really? But the fact that they've won a European Cup, you know,
Yeah.
and they've gone in back-to-back top half finishes. And when he took over, they were.
Well, last season they
Fighting
weren't
for-
top half, were they? They were in a relegation fight for a lot of last season.
Was
Yeah.
he not, did
Yeah,
not finish,
did,
did he not
yeah.
finish top 10 last season? Oh, maybe not. Maybe not.
They-
But yeah, obviously when he took over, let's say they were really struggling, and he's going to in the space of a year he's going to win a European Cup with them, and now they're back into that top half.
They finished below us last year, by the way.
All right.
14.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, but yeah,
Shut up.
but yeah, no, I think he's got a bit of leeway, if I'm honest with you. in
Yeah,
terms
a
of-
little
They
bit, but at
have
this,
Everton, Burnley, and Villa coming up now, so maybe it's a chance to.
Yeah,
I was gonna
if,
say, if
if,
they
if he
don't
does go
take-
and lose those 3, obviously no one's,
the Villa
untouchable
game,
in terms
yeah.
of the job. But yeah, I think
they've got to take some points out of those 3.
definitely. Yeah, if he goes and loses them 3, obviously I'll change.
Yeah.
His job is then obviously on the line.
Yeah.
Obviously, but I do think he's got a bit of breathing space to sort of I think it's a bit harsh, his criticism.
I think he, yeah.
I think he honks personally, but
Having said it, like, you know, it was Arsenal, United that have been the big losses. I guess what counteracts that is the fact that it was Forest as well. So it's just, I think it all rides on these next 3 games, isn't it, really, to see how well he can return.
I mean, Calvin Phillips, that's been a bit of a disaster
Yeah,
so
that's
far.
horrible.
Did he got injured? Did he get injured?
No, he got
he got
sent
sent
off
off.
against
Sent off.
Forest after mistakes against United and Bournemouth and probably Arsenal. I don't know.
Kinda
I mean, they
holiday.
conceded
Come back from
6.
He's had a terrible time since
Yeah.
leaving Leeds, hasn't
He'll come back from it. He's a good enough player.
yeah.
he? Well, I remember my
Is he now? When have we seen any evidence that he actually is still the Calvin Phillips of old?
When
We
he
keep
plays
saying-
when he plays for England, really.
Yeah, I was
But I was
gonna
gonna say,
say-
but we keep saying, oh, he'll be fine. He'll come good. The only time we see him play well is for England. But on a club front,
Yeah.
when was
I
the
mean,
last
it
time you
probably
saw
was
Calvin
when he
Phillips put
was
in a good
with
performance?
Yeah,
Leeds.
but I compare him to Maguire. You know, Maguire's been ridiculed for like a year and a half. Phillips is probably going to be the next Maguire in terms of the whipping boy of the Premier
Yeah.
League. But Maguire's come out the other half of that, fought his way back into the team.
Yeah, I see that. Actually.
I can see Phillips doing that. Even if he doesn't stay at West Ham at the end of the season, goes on. Maybe he goes back to Leeds if they come back up.
I'd love to see
That
him back
would
at
be
Leeds.
great.
That would be brilliant.
My initial thinking, obviously it hasn't worked out. My initial thinking behind it when he was at Man City was obviously his first season he didn't really play, and I thought his second season at City would be that
Yeah.
breakout season for him, because it's worked like that with other players at City. You've got Gundogan was a little bit like that when he first came in.
Did Grealish play much his
and
first
there you go. Grealish is a perfect example of that, where he didn't play.
Well, Grealish isn't playing now
And then-
much.
No.
But he did have that
Cancelo,
little
I was
spell.
thinking of.
Yeah, Cancelo. And that's what I thought would happen, but it hasn't worked out like that. So I don't know what.
No.
Yeah.
It would be. I would like to see him make a move to a slightly lower level and rejuvenate himself. Whether it's Leeds.
So would that be
who-
best for his career?
I think if Leeds came back to the Premier League, Phillips to
Sporting
Leeds
wise,
makes
That could
sense.
be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see him dropping into the Championship though. If it
No,
didn't come up.
no.
AIGS at Ellen Road though. That would be fun.
That would be
Yeah.
good fun.
You would not get me there, so you have to go guessing for that.
So we'll take Yasmin.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, you might have to find a replacement for me as well.
We'll just go.
Go with Freddie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any more
If he
losers?
remembers his name.
Any more losers?
Sorry, we'll take it away from football, but Fulham was a big loser for me, unfortunately. But also, Lewis Smith. Did you see the refereeing performance?
I
I
didn't.
didn't
It was
know. No.
absolutely
Fill us in on
appalling.
it.
So again, we've had another referee first trial at Fulham. We had Rebecca Welch as well. For her first game was at Fulham Burnley. Lewis Smith had a shocking performance for a referee. I think he was actually the biggest loser out of that
Yeah.
game. He just completely lost control of the game. Really poor management and showed himself to be really naive. He's 30 years old, so he is young, but I mean, you're a Premier League referee. Just sort of continues to show the standard of refereeing in the Premier League at the moment. He just, completely naive to Villa's tactics of trying to run the game down. Poor, fouls being
5 Fulham
taken.
bookings in the last 9 minutes.
Yeah, I was going to take.
Jesus,
Yeah.
yeah.
So from the 85th minute, it was 5 yellow cards. Considering we had none before, and then we had 5 afterwards. So that now means Polina's out for 2 games because he's against Man United. He's going to be out,
I don't get nervous.
which
but
is slightly worrying. I think we'll probably have to see Harrison Reed come into that position possibly. And also, so that was a bit of a nightmare. Also, the ball was in play for 57 seconds of the added 5 minutes.
Jesus.
Crazy.
That's a joke.
Really appalling.
Brentford-esque.
I mean, the argument is that you kind of say you need to gain experience, and probably Fulham is a good place to have your first Premier League game. At Craven Cottage, I think that's probably a place where you're not going to get too much appalling criticism on the day. But he literally doesn't have any experience.
Yeah.
He has only he's only refereed, I think it's 25 or 26 EFL games.
Wow.
That's
and
it.
he's made the step up to the Premier
Yeah.
League already.
Yeah.
That's
So
unheard of, that, isn't it?
it is a bit of a nightmare. Obviously, he's dabbled in cup games, but I think that's probably a bit of a nightmare to have him there. almost as bad as Robinson's throw-in, which gave that first...
That was horrific.
Watkins, I don't know why on earth you are throwing flat across your back line like that to Willian, who was so unnatural in that position. So, yeah, a bit of a shocking performance, really. But, yeah, so Fulham, of course, is my loser.
Yeah.
My second loser is Michael Beale this week.
Sunderland.
Yeah.
Ex-Sunderland now.
I really hope you bring up what I think you're going to bring up.
I'm going to bring up the handshake. With
okay.
Troy
I've
Hume.
got something else to add.
Okay, but so Mick Beale has been sacked after 12 games, just 12 games, in charge of Sunderland. He's taken them from somewhere in the Championship to 10th. Perfect research from me.
Yep.
They're only 4 points off the playoffs, but they don't look like the team they were last season. Taken over from Tony Mowbray. Possibly we might see Will Still go to Sunderland because he was heavily linked before Mick Beale took the job. But I think his fate was kind of sealed, not just because of the results, but also last weekend when Sunderland lost, he brought off defender Troy Hume, and Troy Hume went in for the handshake. Mick Beale stood there like a statue, refused.
Just walked past him.
Yeah, and that just lost the dressing room. It looked like you could see that the players don't have any faith in that guy. That's his third job in 2 years, Mick Beale, that he's really kind of failed to leave an impact.
So he come from Rangers.
He was assistant at Rangers under Stevie G, and obviously Rangers won the Scottish Premiership for the first time in donkey's years under that kind of gruesome twosome. But then when Gerrard went to Villa and then Etifachi,
Anna Steven Gerrard.
Mick Beale's kind of taken his.
That's poor.
He's taken his own. We had Gav last week do it a lot better.
Well, he is a scouser.
He is a scouser. Gav was great.
I think that's a cheat.
Yeah. But Mick Beale went to QPR, was pretty poor there, got sacked, went to Rangers, didn't win the league, didn't win a trophy that season because he kept getting hammered by
was linked
Celtic.
with Wolves after that job.
Yeah.
We really wanted him, didn't get him, thank God. Gary O'Neill.
Yeah, so he got sacked by Rangers in October of last year, goes to Sunderland, doesn't do well there. So where next for him? I think he goes to Etifac.
Yeah.
I think that's the logic.
Rejoins.
I think the logical
Steven
step is to rejoin Steven Gerrard because they work together. They must have done.
Yeah.
Because both separately are shit managers. Like it's fair to say they've both been pretty awful. I mean, look at the job Emery's done, taking Villa from 18th to 4th. It's crazy. So maybe they need to link up. Maybe they've got some kind of good cop, bad cop thing going on there. I don't know.
On the Mick Beale front, there was it came out on Twitter. I think it was yesterday. It was yesterday actually. But there was a bit of sleuthing going on through the What the Folk podcast, where it was discovered that Mick Beale has a secret Twitter account that previously had his name on it. His name was then taken off of it. This Twitter account has described Sunderland supporters as toxic and has basically been attempting to back up and support Michael Beale since he was at Rangers, then magically turned into a Sunderland account and was saying that the Sunderland fans were toxic and it was defending him for the whole handshake thing.
It's not a good look, that, is it?
No. Yeah, not great for Michael Beale.
What an insecure little man.
I know, literally.
Have you been watching Sunderland Till I Die?
I haven't.
I've
I've
never
been meaning
watched
to watch it.
It's been relaunched. Is it a new
So-
episode, new show, new series?
Yeah. There's third series.
Got there in the
end.
Yeah. The third series is out now on Netflix. There's only 3 episodes. Actually, I was quite disappointed. I was like, because I loved the programme. I really enjoyed the first 2 series. Went on to watch it and I was like, it's completely brushed over everything. And it basically just fast forwards to their playoff run.
Okay.
Basically. So it is exciting, but you don't get any of the emotional build-up that you have
the
before.
first series was depressing, wasn't it, really?
The music.
The music,
That
I
was
was going to
so
say,
good.
you've got to mention the music.
I need to watch it. I've not seen it.
Have you seen this clip? It's like they're changing the walkout music So before they had some sort of, I think it was like Wagner or something like
Yeah.
that, some sort of classical. But then he just hits play, and you just hear this like kind of EDM beat come out,
It's
and it is
so
awful.
funny.
There's just a beautiful silence in that room before he hits stop. It's amazing.
I need to. Maybe I'll give it a watch. It can be something to
It's
watch.
like
It is
it's
good.
incredibly like The Office UK coded.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I was going to say it's kind of like, because I've watched the All or Nothings and I actually don't like them. I think they're quite like mechanical and not as interesting as say Welcome to Wrexham.
Welcome to Wrexham's so
Yeah.
good.
That was really
Yeah.
it is better than Sunderland Till I Die, I would say.
Okay.
But you sort of get the same vibe of looking into the actual fan outlook
Yeah.
of everything, and you get the personal stories behind it. And Sunderland is one of those places where it's a one-team city,
Yeah.
and it lives and breathes football.
Yeah.
So that is quite nice to watch, and you definitely get that in the first two series and a little bit in the third one. But yeah, I'm just about to watch the playoff final, so that'll be an exciting episode.
No spoilers.
I won't say.
We are under 10 minutes left,
Yeah.
so we're gonna have to speed
Yeah.
through.
Is
some
there any more
losers.
losers?
I can skip over my losers.
I was gonna say mine
Yeah,
was-
mine's Burnley,
Yeah.
so
Mine was Alcaraz, but we touched on him earlier.
Mine was Mason Holgate, which that
Yeah.
tackle. Wow.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
terrible.
I wanted like O'Shea in for that final Havertz goal. Did you? I was just watching it on Match of the Day, and he literally just watches Havertz like run past him, and he's like he does a little jog afterwards. And I was like, that is where the motivation has just gone out
Yeah.
of Burnley now. I can't believe we only came out with a point there, but
Considering we've only got 10 minutes left, I
Yeah,
will
go on.
get through this story very quickly, but I'd like to talk about Mormons.
Yep, absolutely.
right.
Yeah.
where's this gonna go?
This is NCAA, so American college basketball.
Hello. Okay.
So
New
yeah,
sport.
I'm not a basketball guy, but I was scouring through the Athletic, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to try and read some American sports, and I saw a headline with BYU in the title, Brigham Young University, which is a Mormon university based in Provo, Utah, so near Salt Lake City. For anyone who's watched the Book of Mormon, fabulous.
My
So-
mate Amit is going to love that. He's been asking me to listen to the Book of Mormon for ages.
It's so good. Please go and see it live.
Okay.
It's written by Trey and Matt, who did South Park.
Okay. Yeah.
It's so funny.
Maybe. Oh God, I've got so much to get through now.
It is so good. So I've written a little intro for this, actually.
There we go.
When you see BYU, you may think of it as a rather picturesque university set in the foothills of the Wasatch Range in Provo, Utah, USA. But this 150-year-old university was founded by Brigham Young, the second president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, otherwise known as the Mormons.
Wow.
This is where religion, in a university that is 98.5% Mormon, and therefore mostly white, mixes with sport. And the enduring success of the BYU basketball team is kind of fascinating. Disclaimer, I will not be going into Mormonism in depth. But just note that Mormonism bans tea, alcohol, coffee, and sex before marriage. So some
Unless
of
you're soaking.
some of the players are already married on the team. And a lot of them are like return missionaries as well. So not quite college age, but a little bit older, 25, 26. They've been on missions, taking the Book of Mormon to like rural Africa and stuff like that, coming back and playing college basketball. So I just find utterly fascinating. So I think it's really fitting that their current coach is called Pope. Mark Pope. Pope seemingly is quite a generous man, and obviously with a basketball team you're going to have tall players, which means that they recruit quite a lot of non-Mormon players, either from the 1.5% at the university or from abroad. Pope is a really generous man, and when he's recruiting these non-Mormon players, especially from abroad, he often like flies out to the countries like Mali and Egypt to make the players feel at ease, meet their families, like kind of embrace them a bit, which I think is really nice.
When do we get the BYU documentary? Is the real question.
I'd love to see it. And he even flew to Tanzania with player Atiki Ali Atiki, and he helped.
So good they named him twice.
So good they named him twice. And he helped deliver shoes, basketballs, and laptops to local schools in Tanzania in Dar es Salaam.
Wow.
The team themselves have been to 30 NCAA tournaments, what is known as you might have heard of March Madness.
March Madness.
Which is the biggest college basketball
It's unreal.
tournament. The favourites never really win.
No.
Like, it's just
It
crazy.
is mental.
So, yeah. In their history, I think they've been going for about 70 years or so. Their first captain was a Yugoslavian atheist, which I thought was really fascinating, who then became a fan favourite. They would chant his name. He was captain for a few years, and then he returned to Yugoslavia to translate the Book of Mormon into Croatian.
Wow.
Which I thought was fascinating. In the team have been to 30 NCAA tournaments, but have only reached the Final Four. They've never reached the Final Four, and the last time they were in the NCAA tournament was in 2021, and only kind of one in 10 years or so. So they've kind of dropped off a bit, but their attendance is regularly in the top 10 in the entire country.
Wow.
And they've now joined the Big 12, which is the best division of college basketball before the NCAA tournament. So before, where they'd only see these really good NCAA teams at the tournament, which they rarely get to, now they're playing against them every week. So the challenge now for Pope is balancing what the uni leadership, the BYU leadership would like, which is more Mormons and keeping it in the kind of Mormon faith and closer to their values, versus cultivating a basketball team that can reach new heights.
Wow. What an interesting story.
That's one of the best things we've ever had on this podcast.
I thought it was really fascinating.
That is really interesting.
Very good, very good.
Did you boys see, while we're on sort of American college sports, did you see what I sent on the group chat? Alfie, can you search, it's just search college football whiteout. I can't remember which uni it is, but it's absolutely mental. If you can put up the video, it's one of these unis in America. For reference, Penn State, that's it. For reference, their capacity is over 100,000 for college football, and they sell that out. So, I mean, imagine the equivalent of uni sport in England with 100,000 people in attendance. This is at college level. So, for anyone just listening, we're looking
immense.
at Penn State, their whiteout entrance, where basically the entire crowd wears white. They wave like white banners. I think college football and just college sport in general in America is absolutely mental. Like the attendances for American football are absurd. I think there's now, I want to say, I don't know the exact number, but there's a fair few stadiums now with over 100,000 capacity at college level. I mean, like it is ridiculous.
And those aren't like the KKK white hoods.
Yeah. But I mean, like, imagine playing in that kind of atmosphere.
The only thing I can compare it to is the Europa final a couple of years ago when Eintracht Frankfurt were wearing white, and all their fans were wearing white, and they had white out of like 60% of the stadium. But this is like the entire dome.
That's what I mean, the entire ground. And I mean, look at the
All in
synchronization.
unison. Yeah.
Penn State. Oh, that's a bucket list one to go and see.
I think that's conquered Fulham's white wall at Wembley.
But yeah, no. So that was an impressive one. We do have 5 minutes, so we should start to wrap up.
I was going to just quickly say we wrap up on set us in good stead for next week as well. That F1 testing has begun.
Yes, yeah.
Red Bull's Max Verstappen was the quickest driver on the track today.
Standard.
He did earlier on. He had a time of 1:32.548.
Comparatively, where did that set him in the field? Do we know?
I can have a quick check for you.
I think Alfie should check.
Yeah, Alfie, check it up. And the first race of the season is next week.
Which
Bahrain,
I am absolutely buzzing
which is
for.
going to be good because we've got a preview next week.
I was going to say next week we're previewing. I think the majority of the episode will just be a preview of the F1 season. We'll do a little bit of having a look at the liveries because that's always good fun.
Yeah.
Although they are quite boring this year. But yeah, you spoke about it on Friday, didn't you? The Red Bull vertical side pod thing.
Yeah, I mean, if we had Henry Hudson here, he could tell us more about the side pods. But basically, I'm not quite sure how it works, but the innovation this year is they've kind of got like no side pods, or that they do, but they're really small.
Shit me, Verstappen, is that a second is that just under a second quicker?
That's 7 tenths quicker.
Fucking hell.
Than Leclerc.
Like that, isn't it?
Oh, Jesus. I don't get nervous, but
if you look at the whole leaderboard, it's like that from the top down to.
I mean, Verstappen's going to dominate this season again. It's going to be another boring season.
Yeah.
But the hope is that next year, you know,
That's when it picks
Christian.
up with
I
all the
mean,
transfers and
we'll see if Horner's still in like Red Bull pole position in maybe a month's time.
That was horrific.
And then we've
That was horrific
got Hamilton at Ferrari next season.
Mhm.
So
yeah.
could be more exciting then. But I think this season's going to be a bit more of the same.
Yeah. I think with that then, we'll wrap up.
I'd
It's
just
been
love to give a quick congratulations to Virat Kohli, who's just welcomed his second child.
Is that why he's been
brilliant.
off?
That's why he's been off, and he's
Ah.
going to return for
wow.
the 5th test at Dharamsala on March the 7th.
I'm getting a bit shaky now.
So, congratulations, Virat.
Yeah. I'm sure you're a big fan, Virat. But no, yeah, it's been a good episode.
It's a
We've
great
got
episode,
the F1 preview next week.
Yep.
Alfie,
Linus
was the week after?
and Issy for that episode.
Ramsey's. at
Ramsey's the
moment,
week after.
If we don't get a guest.
Fine. Okay.
That's
So
not set in
yeah,
stone.
we've got guests coming on. I think we'll have guests on every week till the end of the semester. But no, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for
Thank
thank
Yeah,
you for
thanks for
joining
coming on.
us.
It's been great.
Having us,
Yeah.
having me.
But no,
Having
yeah,
us. The royal we.
we finally hit 10 episodes. So that's nice. In the double digits. We've not conked out yet. Joe Rainbow, we'll see you in a month.
Yeah, give me a couple of weeks to record from this one. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's been a pleasure. To everyone listening/watching, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to the YouTube, follow the TikTok, follow the Twitter, follow the Instagram. Listen to Musish.
Mhm.
Add us on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Like the YouTube, share it.
Buy us a kebab.
Yeah, yeah, we love kebabs.
Should we set up a
Come to our gig.
Patreon as well?
I think a
Maybe
Discord server. We'll just
Buy me a
anything,
coffee.
any good,
And OnlyFans.
yeah, you're on it.
I'll knit you a cocksock.
My bank details are as follows.
Any good platform we're on, so find us and follow us. But with that, yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. It's been a pleasure, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Cheers, guys.